My fellow Singaporeans, good evening.
Hi guys, welcome to a slightly late recap of this year's National Day rally. PM Lee started out by providing a summary of our fight against COVID and how Singapore was different from other nations.
In many other countries, when a wave happens, cases shoot up furiously and then crash down suddenly, like a roller coaster. And when cases shoot up like that, hospitals come under a lot of pressure. In Singapore, our waves grow as well as tail off more gradually. And this suggests we've been effective in slowing down disease transmission.
Wow, this proves once again how boring Singapore is. Even other countries' COVID-19 sounds more exciting than ours. He also praised Singaporeans for doing the right thing during COVID.
Above all, there was trust among Singaporeans that we would each do the right thing and have each other's back. You practiced personal and social responsibility. You took your vaccinations when your turn came.
Not you.
Protecting yourself, plus everyone around you and society as a whole. You kept your masks on.
Definitely not you.
Especially indoors. You conscientiously washed your hands after coming home.
He then thanked the people who went above and beyond their call of duty during the pandemic.
In our national response, many went above and beyond their call of duty. Healthcare workers, through their care and professionalism, ensured that the rest of us could carry on safely with our daily lives. Public officers, especially those on the front lines, carried out many demanding operations, often at short notice. Private companies generously provided resources and industry know-how to tackle many problems. NGOs and community groups made special efforts to take care of those who needed more help. And countless individuals from all walks of life who joined in our whole-of-nation response. The government will present everyone who participated directly fighting COVID-19 during the pandemic, both individuals and teams, a special state award. We will call it the COVID-19 Resilience Medal. In addition, those who made exceptional contributions will receive existing state awards such as the Commendation Medal, the Public Service Medal, and the Public Administration Medal. We will add a special indication to the name and the insignia to show that this time the medal was presented for service fighting COVID. Maybe on the ribbon for the medal, we will add 2 red lines.
He then announced this.
With our situation stabilizing, we will reduce the mask requirements further to prevent people from getting tired. We will only require masks on public transport where people are in prolonged close contact in a crowded space, and in healthcare settings like clinics, hospitals, and residential and nursing homes where there are vulnerable persons.
PM Lee also announced that masks will no longer be required during classes.
For schools in particular, we should not need masks in class. I know parents are a little bit worried, but I think there's no need to worry. We've assessed it, we think it's safe. The children do need to be able to see the facial expressions of their teachers and of each other.
Honestly, I support this, man. Children these days have been getting too full of themselves. They need to experience the looks of disappointment from their teachers, just like I did. However, before you burn all your masks, PM Lee said this.
But please don't take your masks off this very moment. Please wait for the detailed announcement from the MTF.
He then moved on to US-China relations.
US-China relations, which sets the tone for global affairs, are worsening. The two powers are divided over many issues. Their rival ideologies and systems of government, China's growing influence in the world, plus many specific problems, including trade disputes, cyber espionage, the South China Sea, Hong Kong, and most recently and worryingly, sharply escalating tensions over Taiwan. Yet the US and China need to work together on many pressing global issues, including climate change, pandemics, and nuclear proliferation. And their tense relationship is making this almost impossible. Apart from US-China tensions, Russia's invasion of Ukraine also has profound implications for the world and for Singapore. First, the invasion violates the UN Charter and fundamental principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And this is particularly important to Singapore. Our security, even our existence, relies on countries upholding these principles. Second, the war has created deep hostility between Russia and other states, especially US and the NATO countries. Third, the war in Ukraine affects security in the Asia-Pacific. It has complicated the already strained US-China relations, and also relations between China and America's partners in Asia, like Australia and Japan. We can expect more geopolitical contestation in the Asia-Pacific. Some countries will choose a side, others, like Singapore, will try our best to avoid being caught up in major power rivalry. So we must get real, and we must get ourselves prepared psychologically. What can we do about these external dangers? First, we must stand firm on fundamental principles of international law. Next, we must take national service seriously and keep the SAF and home team strong and credible. If we do not defend ourselves, no one is going to defend us on our behalf. Most importantly, we must stay one united people. Never allow ourselves to be divided, whether by race, religion, income, social differences, or place of birth.
With all the heavy stuff out of the way, he then talked about the economy.
The government is doing everything necessary to support Singaporeans, especially middle and lower income families. This financial year alone, a middle income family with 2 young children staying in a 4-room HDB flat can expect an additional $2,200 in support. And a lower income family staying in a 3-room HDB flat can expect even more, about $3,700. MAS has also tightened our exchange rate policy. The Singapore dollar has strengthened. It makes traveling overseas more affordable. But there's a limit to this because a stronger Sing dollar also makes our exports more expensive and we lose competitiveness against other countries. So we have to be very careful not to overdo things. We don't have much influence over this global inflation picture, but what is within our power is to make ourselves more productive and more competitive, because then our workers can earn more and can more than make up for the higher prices of food, of fuel, and of other imports. And that way, we can all become better off in real terms.
Then, the news that had some boomers reacting like this.
No! No, don't do it!
However, like every human society, we also have gay people in our midst. They are our fellow Singaporeans. They are our colleagues, our friends, our family members. They too want to live their own lives, participate in our community, and contribute fully to Singapore. And we need to find the right way to reconcile and accommodate both the traditional mores of our society and the aspiration of gay Singaporeans to be respected and accepted. The government will repeal Section 377A and decriminalize sex between men. I believe this is the right thing to do and something that most Singaporeans will now accept.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Even as we repeal 377A, we will uphold and safeguard the institution of marriage.
Despite the repeal of Section 377A, PM Lee tempered expectations of more radical changes.
We will therefore protect the definition of marriage from being challenged constitutionally in the courts. The legal definition is contained in the Interpretation Act and the Women's Charter. We have to amend the Constitution to protect it, and we will do so. This will help us to repeal Section 377A in a controlled and carefully considered way. It will limit this change to what I believe most Singaporeans will accept, which is to decriminalize sexual relations between consenting men in private. But will also keep what I believe most Singaporeans still want, and that is to retain the basic family structure of marriage between a man and a woman within which we have and raise our children. I hope the new balance will enable Singapore to remain a tolerant and inclusive society for many years to come.
After that, PM Lee talked about what Singapore can and will be moving forward.
Recently, DPM Lawrence Wong launched Forward Singapore. The conversation is to build consensus on the kind of Singapore we want to see. We want to meet the enduring aspirations of every Singaporean, including a good start in life, regardless of background, affordable housing and childcare when you get married, opportunities to upgrade yourself throughout your career, and a healthy and fulfilling retirement in your golden years. I hope that through this exercise, we will better appreciate some enduring imperatives for Singapore. First, we must take pride in being Singaporeans, strengthen our national identity, and understand where our national interests lie. Second, we must stay open and connected to the world. Globalization is on the wane, countries are turning inwards and protectionist, but Singapore is still a global city. Third, we must build a world-class talent pool in Singapore. We do our utmost to develop our own talent and enable every Singaporean to reach their fullest potential. But when it comes to top talent, we can never have enough.
He provided an update on the upcoming Tuas Seaport and talked about the importance of planning ahead.
10 years ago, I spoke about our plans for Tuas Port and Changi Terminal 5. We've been working hard at these plans. Tonight, I want to give you an update. The existing terminals at Tanjong Pagar, Brani, Keppel, and Pasir Panjang, they were working fine. But we decided, nevertheless, to consolidate all our port operations into one mega port at Tuas. This shift would progressively free up prime waterfront land from Shenton Way to Pasir Panjang for the future Greater Southern Waterfront. Because we had planned ahead, our port was able to handle extra volumes during the pandemic, while ports in other countries experienced closures, severe congestion, and long delays. But PSA, our port, remained open 24/7 throughout.
The Prime Minister also talked about the upcoming Terminal 5 at Changi Airport.
We have ambitious plans for Changi too. Here are T1 to T4, and this is T5. So T1, 2, 3, and 4. T5 is as big as all of these put together. In terms of capacity, T5 will have 50 million passengers, which is equal to T1 plus T3. T5 will show the world what sort of place Singapore is. Let me give you a preview of the passenger arrival experience. From arriving onto the SkyTrain, to immigration, to baggage collection, to a beautiful Singapore welcome.
Singapore is very safe, but we don't want to get raped.
PM Lee then showed off a concept of a future development in Paya Lebar.
I told you before that Paya Lebar Air Base would move out and that we would redevelop Paya Lebar. We can repurpose the runway into the town's central spine, turn it into a green connector or a community space extending from one end of the town to the other. On both sides of the spine, we'll build public and private housing. There will be amenities and recreational areas close by, as well as commercial and industrial developments to bring jobs closer to our homes. So once the airbase moves out, we can lift some of the building height restrictions around it. For example, in Aokang, in Marine Parade or Punggol. And this means we can redevelop these towns, include more amenities, and make much better use of the space there. Singaporeans sometimes worry that we'll run out of space in future, that housing will not be available or affordable. I say, no need to worry. Our problem is not finding the space to build enough flats, nor keeping homes affordable for Singaporeans. Our problem is having enough babies to grow up and live in them.
Finally, PM Lee ended this year's National Day rally with this.
With all these challenges, success depends on us getting three key master fundamentals right. We must always have a united people, a high-quality leadership team, and high trust between the people and their leaders. Keep on working hard to find the right people, get them to serve, and help them to do their best for Singapore. It is our duty to extend our success formula into the next generation and beyond. The younger ministers have chosen DPM Lawrence Wong to be their leader. I'm very happy the matter is settled and my succession plans are moving forward again. I'm also glad that from everything I see, Singaporeans are supportive of Lawrence and his leadership of the team. So I ask you, give Lawrence and his 4G team, your fullest support. The next few decades will be bracing, but exhilarating. I've given you my take on what we can achieve and also what can go wrong. But with your trust, we can come through whatever difficulties await. With your support, we can turn hopes and dreams into reality. And united as one people, we can secure a brighter future in this uncertain world. Not just for now, not just for ourselves, but for every Singaporean child for many generations to come. Thank you and good night.